Would you still buy a Rolex if it was made in China? It's a provocative question, and one that sent shockwaves through the watch community in 2025. For decades, Rolex has built its legacy on precision, exclusivity, and one simple promise. Every watch is 100% Swiss-made, but recent controversy suggests that may not be the whole story. So today on Luxury Insights, we're diving into a topic that's as controversial as it is critical. Is Rolex really made in China? And what do these allegations mean for one of the most trusted brands in luxury? Let's start with what sparked the fire. In early 2025, reports began circulating that certain Rolex components were being manufactured in Shenzhen, China, one of the world's largest hubs for both legitimate watch production and counterfeit operations. Industry insiders claimed that specific non-movement components, such as dial blanks, bracelets, or clasp elements, may have been quietly outsourced to third-party suppliers in China before being shipped back to Switzerland for assembly. Now here's the kicker. Under current regulations, a watch can still qualify as Swiss-made, even if up to 40% of its production cost comes from outside Switzerland, as long as final assembly and movement manufacturing occur within the country. That means if Rolex did outsource any portion of its production, they could still legally carry the Swiss-made label. But legal doesn't always mean acceptable, especially in the eyes of Rolex collectors. Rolex has long maintained one of the most vertically integrated production models in the industry. 4 state-of-the-art facilities in Switzerland handle everything from movement production in Bienne, to case and bracelet crafting in Plan-le-Ouat, to gem setting in Cherbourg, and final assembly in Geneva. The very identity of Rolex is tied to Swiss engineering and manufacturing purity. So if these allegations have any truth to them, it's not just a logistics issue, it's a brand integrity issue. And Rolex knows it. In fact, the company has responded in the most Rolex way possible, through litigation. In recent months, Rolex has launched legal actions against several Chinese suppliers, accusing them of counterfeiting, unauthorized component sales, and potentially violating contractual production limits. The concern isn't just unauthorized Rolex parts. It's the possibility that surplus components made for legitimate contracts are being leaked into the grey or counterfeit markets. This has become particularly worrying with the rise of so-called superclone Rolex fakes, counterfeit watches so meticulously built that they include nearly indistinguishable cases, bezels, and even automatic movements. Some experts believe these superclones may share manufacturing DNA with genuine Rolex components, possibly coming from the same tooling, the same factories, or even the same suppliers. It's a chilling possibility, because it suggests that the Rolex you buy and the fake you fear could share more in common than anyone would like to admit. Coming up in the second half of this video, we'll break down Rolex's official response, the broader implications for the Swiss-made standard, and what this means for collectors, buyers, and the future of brand trust in luxury horology. Make sure to like and subscribe to Luxury Insights, because the second half pulls back the curtain even further. So, how has Rolex responded to the allegations? Officially, the brand has issued no public admission of outsourcing production to China, and that aligns with how Rolex operates. The company has never courted media attention or participated in PR firefighting. Instead, Rolex controls its narrative through tight internal discipline and carefully coordinated legal action. But actions speak louder than silence. In mid-2025, Rolex initiated lawsuits against several Chinese manufacturers, accusing them of producing counterfeit parts and engaging in unauthorized manufacturing under Rolex's name. The factories in question were allegedly creating components, dials, bracelets, clasps that were nearly indistinguishable from those in authentic Rolex watches. While Rolex has not officially confirmed any business ties with these suppliers, the precision of the counterfeits and the sheer volume led many industry experts to question whether these parts were being produced under license and then leaked into the grey market. This opens up a much larger and much more uncomfortable conversation. Even if Rolex didn't intentionally outsource production to China, could third-party suppliers or subcontractors have done so without full disclosure? It's possible. In fact, some industry insiders suggest that Rolex's aggressive vertical integration in Switzerland over the last decade may have been driven, in part, by a desire to reduce its reliance on any outside contractors. And yet, in today's global manufacturing economy, absolute control is increasingly difficult, even for a company like Rolex. Which brings us to a much more fundamental question. What does Swiss-made even mean today? Under current Swiss regulations, a watch can be labeled Swiss-made if its movement is Swiss, the watch is assembled in Switzerland, and at least 60% of its production cost is domestic. This leaves room for some foreign-made components, cases, bracelets, crystals, or packaging, to be sourced elsewhere, as long as they don't exceed the threshold. And Rolex, while holding itself to a higher internal standard, is technically operating within this legal framework. But legal doesn't always mean ethical. And in the luxury watch world, perception matters more than compliance. Rolex has built its name on the promise of purity of origin. Everything from its 904L oyster steel to its parachrome hairsprings and serichrome bezels is marketed as being born in Switzerland under the Rolex roof. Even their gem setting, a task often outsourced by other luxury brands, is performed in-house. This mythos of Swiss control is part of what justifies the price and the prestige of owning a Rolex. So, when that image is even suggested to be compromised, it shakes consumer confidence in ways that data can't easily repair. Collectors have taken notice. On watch forums, some are now asking whether they should demand origin transparency when purchasing a new Rolex. Others are looking more seriously at brands like A. Lange and Söhne or Grand Seiko, which are lauded for both their craftsmanship and their supply chain clarity. Some buyers even wonder if this moment will open the door for independent watchmakers, those who build limited runs entirely under their own roof. At the same time, many Rolex loyalists remain unfazed. They argue that brand legacy, engineering excellence, and real-world durability far outweigh debates about origin minutiae. After all, even if a clasp or a dial blank were milled outside of Switzerland, the final product is still assembled, regulated, and tested under Rolex's notoriously demanding conditions. Still, the conversation has shifted. If Rolex wants to maintain its stature, it may be forced by public pressure, not regulation, to offer greater transparency in how its watches are made. That could mean clearer documentation on sourcing, third-party audits, or a new standard for what in-house truly means in 2025 and beyond. Because in today's luxury landscape, trust is the new currency. And that trust is built not only on performance, but on honesty. So, is Rolex made in China? Officially, no. Unofficially, the truth may be more complicated and perhaps more nuanced than the industry is willing to admit. But one thing is clear. Rolex is at a crossroads, and how it chooses to navigate this moment may define the next chapter of its legacy. Let us know what you think in the comments. Would a Chinese-made component affect your view of the brand? Do you believe Rolex owes its customers more transparency? Or is the current standard good enough? And if you value facts over hearsay, craftsmanship over hype, and real watch knowledge over rumors, then make sure to like this video and subscribe to Luxury Insights. Until next time, stay stylish and stay informed.